Well, I went, thank goodness, and had my yearly mammogram, which I've always done, probably since my 40s. I wasn't that worried about it. And so, had the biopsy, and, I kind of thought about it, but I had no family history of breast cancer. That's not something I thought I would ever have. Well, I was actually driving my son to the airport to go visit his girlfriend in California, and the phone rang, and I saw it, it was the breast cancer. So, I answered it, and she started talking just kind of nonchalant, like, how's your, where they did the biopsy, are you sore, just kind of chit-chatting. So I was like, okay, this is good. And then she says, well, unfortunately, and it's like my heart just sank. She said, you have breast cancer. And so, I called Bobby, and it's almost like a blank. I don't even remember that. And, I walked in. Well, Bobby just like ran at me and, hugged me. And of course he's very emotional. He was crying, which that's when I started crying. He's just so sweet and tenderhearted.
It brought back some memories when I found out I had leukemia 4 years ago. And Jeanne was right from the beginning, always been there. Mine is basically in remission, take some medication. But with Jeanne, she's the rock of the family. If you ever, think of God, my wife or, the grandmother and mother has got cancer. When it hits home, it really hits home.
Once they kind of delved into it, that I just felt like a mastectomy was the right decision for me. And, I definitely have not regretted it. But, you just kind of keep on keeping on. But I had my third surgery about 4 weeks ago, just part of the reconstruction. And I'll have my fourth surgery June, July, and that'll finish it all. It's definitely been a process. And I think one of the hardest things was, it was after my mastectomy. They go in, test your lymph nodes. And when they called and said, it's not in your lymph nodes. Bobby and I both just bawled.
We wanted to hear that. And we both broke down and hugged each other. And God's given us, some light to go forward. And that was very, very emotional.
It's weird to feel grateful, but I do feel grateful because I know so many people that have gone through it and just didn't have the result I have, didn't catch it early. They said, by having that mammogram, they caught it early. And where my cancer was located, I never would have had a knot, which some people, that's how they detect their cancer. So, and I run into people all the time. They're like, well, it's been about 5 or 6 years. I feel like I'm preaching that to all my friends and I hope people listening, if they're putting it off, will get a mammogram because, I don't know that it's saved my life, but I think it kept me from having to, maybe end up with chemo and radiation. I truly feel like one of the lucky ones. I don't know, I've never felt like, why did I get this? And coming home that day after I got that call, I was like, God has this. I don't know, I just felt like it was going to be okay. The important thing is just try to remain positive and know, it can get better. It's going to get better regardless of what happens, but it's all going to be okay.